Welcome to Gatecrashers, a podcast dedicated to kicking open the door to your next favorite thing. Our mission, our creed, and our code is this: to make all things more approachable and accessible for everyone. We want you to find a universe that you'll fall in love with. Today, I am joined by someone you may know from films such as Keep Coming Back and The Advanced Class, and now the new book and film, The Problem Drinker. Kyle Kouri, how are you?
I'm great. Great, amazing intro. Thanks for having me.
I think I've been more excited for this interview than I have for many, many interviews because we're doing it a lot differently.
Right.
As it is called The Problem Drinker, we will be drinking during this interview. We'll see where we go, how we feel. And this is a first for me. I have maybe a first for you.
Yes, I've never drank on a
invited.
podcast before. Yeah.
So, what are you drinking?
I am drinking some upstate New York beer, Hudson Brewing Company from Hudson, New York. Just Us, New England style IPA. And I was actually reading right before I got on this. This is based on, I guess, local lore of like a family, like a couple that disappeared in Hudson. And what I'm sorry, they had mysterious deaths. I haven't dove deep into it, but anyway, so a New England style IPA
Wild.
with some lore, and then this is a Bronx Smile, my guy, happy hoppy IPA. I don't know. I
hold it a little higher with your hand just because there you go. When I saw that in the movie, I was like, wait, Kyle's playing himself? And then I was like, wait, he has a giant smiley face on his hand? That fucking rocks.
Yeah. I talk about getting that a little bit in the book. And then Taconic Distillery bourbon.
Oh, look at the little dog on there.
I'm a big proponent for bourbons outside of Kentucky. Often they're terrible, but New York does it very well. There's a number of New York distilleries that I really would recommend, and I got into this last night actually, so I've already tasted it. I'm sorry, I got it yesterday, and then I was just looking at it, and I was like, so I had some, but not much. But I can tell you already, it's great.
So on my end, I'm drinking Alien Church Indian Pale Ale. Let me show you from Tired Hands Brewing in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. It's got a cool little skeleton glass on the front with like psychedelic tentacles. I've got a Cape May Brewing Company Cranberry Shandy The Bog. It's got a little mermaid on it, and I got it because it was a bog, and I think that's one of my favorite places to set most stories. And then like I stopped drinking like just casually, so I've started collecting bottles upon bottles of whiskey that people always gift me. And today I'm breaking into one called it's from Talisker Select Reserve Single Malt Scotch Whiskey, but it's Game of Thrones House Greyjoy. So I was like, it's just sitting in my cabinet. It's meant to be drank. So we're gonna break into this. So I am going to pour myself some. And then I'm going to crack one of these as well, just because it's nice to have a little bit of a change. Wow.
That's my go-to at bars usually, is just an IPA and a whiskey neat. So I'm going to do the same.
Are you familiar with the Citywide? I don't know if I assume all cities have Citywides.
No.
So it's like a $3, maybe $5 now. $5. You order a Citywide in Philadelphia, they give you a tall boy and a shot. Every bar has a different one. Basically, you go in, you're like, hey, can I have a why did I just blank on the name of what I'm talking about? Oh, Citywide. You go in and you say you want a Citywide, and that's what they give you. You take the shot and then you slam the beer.
One of my favorite bars ever, the Library in New York, after midnight has something, or they used to have it. I don't know if they still do. It's called the Pube, and it's a shot and a beer, like it's a tall boy and a shot. Well of your choice.
My the bar where I got it originally doesn't exist anymore. It was called Connie's Rick Rack. It was probably as big as my office here, but every time I would go in there, they'd be having some batshit event. One time I went in, everyone was dressed in fully clothes. It was balloons for their clothes. It was a charity event for local queer youth, which was awesome. Another time
Hmm.
I went, it was a rock paper scissors concert. Another night I went there and Rancid was playing,
What?
or a Rancid cover band. I can't remember which. I was pretty drunk. And then there's every time I've gone there, it was something different. And then COVID
Hmm.
took my beloved dive bar, but now I have one closer here. So
Is that the one that you
that's Jay's. That's the one I've been going to since I was youth. Uh, my my grandparents actually went there when they were young. That is how old it is. So
wow.
it's like they knew the original Jay from what I understand. But it's one of those places where anything can happen. One time there was a guy walking past me and he had I think it was on his wrist or something. It was 43 from Hitchhiker's Guide. And I was like, oh, that's super sick. And I was like, I love your tattoo. Dude's like, hell yeah, dude. Takes his whole shirt off. And then proceeds to show me all of his tattoos in the middle of the bar, shirtless. And he had like all the whales and stuff on the back. And I was like, sure, I like that. And then he ended up working at a bar that my fiance worked at. So I was like, oh my God, I know that guy.
Oh my
I
God.
can detail you every tattoo on his body. And she's like,
But
excuse me?
they were all hitchhiker tattoos.
Yeah, they were all Hitchhiker's Guide tattoos.
I love super fandom like that.
Yeah, it's commitment.
I once got in an Uber and in LA, and I sit in the Uber and the guy goes, "So what's your favorite episode of the X-Files?" And I was like, I actually I couldn't name one off the top of my head, but it was okay because he just began to monologue about the X-Files, like all this sort of trivia about David Duchovny and just the show and the show's history. And I mean, this guy knew everything. And then I could just like an hour later, I was out of the Uber and my mind was blown.
I I know in the book you do talk about being a preference non-talker for Ubers, but I think one of the highlights of my life is talking to strangers. I love talking to strangers, especially like people who will just talk at me because I feel like I learn so much and I'm just like, yeah, sure.
That's so funny. I think that when I'm en route to whatever the thing I'm going to is, I do not like conversation. But when I'm leaving the thing, like on my way home in an Uber, I'll share my whole life story. I like to hear theirs. We talk about like our opinions on everything. So I do love the late night Uber drive. Just in like sometimes we'll just put on music, we'll talk about whatever song's playing. I do like that kind of interaction, but for some reason I'm always in my head on the way to the thing, you know?
I can feel that. I went to a thing yesterday and I felt the same way. Like going to, I was like, ugh. And then on the way back, I was like, ah, fuck it, let's talk. But
Yeah.
I stopped sitting. I used to think I had to sit in the front. Didn't realize I could sit in the back until one time after a Christmas party at work where I was very, very drunk. I was sitting in the front seat and mid car ride, the guy looks over to me and starts rubbing my belly. He goes, big boy. And I went, and then I blacked out. And I remember getting home and he was like, all right, time to get out. And I was like, all right, see ya. But all I remember is him rubbing my belly and just going, big boy. And I was like, thank you. I
Wow.
didn't know where to go
Yeah.
with that one. I was like,
So
listen,
then
everybody's got their own kink. So
that's like that is that is a obvious breach of you know, driver
yeah,
passenger etiquette.
something about me makes people, I have like this gravitational pull of for weirdos. Like if someone is weird, they
Mm,
will find me anywhere I am. Come talk to me, touch me, follow me. It's just my power and my curse.
interesting. Yeah.
So I do have one question we have to get to. It's a question I ask in
Okay.
every interview, and it's a pretty heavy hitter, so I hope you're ready. You might want to take a drink first.
Okay.
What's your favorite sandwich?
Um, I like tuna salad, tuna salad sandwich. I mean, it can. I'm very passionate about tuna salad. Are we talking about like that you order somewhere or that you make yourself?
Either, but now if you say you're passionate about tuna salad, I want to see and hear what goes into this.
It's the only thing that I'm good at making. And it's the kind of thing where like whatever's around the kitchen, like if there's tuna and mayo, then I'll start getting creative. I'll see what spices we have, like what nuts we have, you know. Sometimes I put fruit in tuna salad. Like, you could put anything in
Hmm.
tuna salad. That's why I love it. And I love when you go to like delis or sandwich shops. I love like CJ and I, we always drive around the country and we just go to sandwich shops in small towns, and everybody's got their spin on a tuna salad. It's the one sandwich that is really different everywhere you go. Nobody makes it the same,
Huh.
but it still delivers the same. It's like it's such a rewarding experience. It's always good and always different. And I get it with truffle chips,
Oh,
if they
fancy.
have potato chips, if they have. Yeah, I'm kind of fancy.
Yeah, fancy
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, with the potato chips at least.
Yeah. Do you put the potato chips on the sandwich? Are you one of those?
No, but like with tuna salad, bits will fall off, so I'll use it like I'll scoop up the bits. Do
Got
you
it.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. All right. So with that, we're talking about the problem drinker. What is your go-to bar meal? Like if you're at a bar that also has a kitchen, what is your barometer? Like how do you know a good bar based on this food?
I think like bar burgers or something I really like. So like the best the best bar burger on the planet is a bar I used to bartend at in New York. It's called Ease Bar, and it's just a really fantastic simple cheeseburger. So I think that like if a bar is gonna have a food menu, then it's got to have an amazing burger. And the Ease Bar burger is not a smash burger, but generally smash burgers are what bars do best. And
Mm.
yeah, so does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, it's I think that one's more personal. Like it's
Okay.
what you gauge it on. For me, I would probably the chicken wings, but they're easier to do right, I feel, than a cheeseburger. I feel like a cheeseburger you can get terribly wrong.
Yeah. I don't do chicken wings. Like I never have. Yeah.
Ever?
Sorry.
No, that's fine. We can get you on the interview now.
I mean, I'll do like my friend Travis loves chicken wings, so I'll eat them with him, and he's very like he knows where to get them,
Mm,
and he's passionate about them, like me and the tuna salad sandwich, I guess. But so I'll enjoy it for the novelty when I'm doing it with him, but it's not something I like. I don't have a palate for it. I can't tell like what's good and what's not good and what people
mm,
um, qualify good and bad when it comes to chicken wings.
interesting. But you can with burgers, so
With burgers, I think I'm like an expert.
that's good to know. That I will ask you before I go anywhere. I've that my fiance always judges me because like anywhere I'll go, I'll get a sandwich. Like I'd rather play a little safe and get a little weird at the sandwich choice I'm getting, but I know a sandwich is always going to be fine. Like I know it's always going to be good. Now one thing I have found, and this is not a phenomenon based just to you, but reading in bars. How do you do it? Like I would go nuts. Like I wouldn't be able to concentrate. It seems like you have some sort of method to madness to doing it, or you're just locked in.
It's harder. It's like harder the older I get. I used to be very good at it. I mean, I could spend hours just reading in a bar. Now I bring the book and it's like comforting to have it there, but more likely I'm just like sending reels to friends and like photos of what I'm drinking. So I'm trying to get it back, but I don't know. I do think that like, do you go to bars alone?
I tell you honestly, I have only just started going to movies by myself in the past couple of years.
Really?
Yeah, I'm someone who is a very social creature. I've never like not to sound pompous, but I've never had problems having friends and always like just having someone to go places with. It's like I'm more afraid to go somewhere alone than I am with other people.
Mm. So that's interesting. I think a lot of people are that way. I go to movies alone. I prefer going to movies alone. I go to eat alone and I sit at bars alone. And I think that like it's a little bit lofty to call it like an art with like sitting at bars, but I do think like there is a culture of just like mainly just lonely, just people
Yeah.
sitting at bars. But I am one of those people, and I love it. And actually, that's unfair to say of myself and any other barfly
Mhm.
that they're lonely. It's just a nice place to sit and think.
Yeah, I do think there is something I don't know if there's a better word for it, but like romantic about just going somewhere like a bar, sitting at the counter, getting a beer and just reading a book or just scrolling. Otherwise you're just sitting on your couch. Like why not do it somewhere new?
Yeah,
Um
exactly.
yeah. All right. I've always been just afraid to. I and the problem is like I'll go to places and I'll just meet new people. That's probably a really good way to just do that and just enjoy solace while meeting. I don't know.
Yeah, I meet people at bars too. There's a whole like culture too of just chatting with folks at bars, and like people who do that can kind of recognize one another,
Yeah. And
and then
you're not going to like Applebee's. Like I feel like if you're sitting at Applebee's by yourself drinking, reading, then I might look. But like at a dive bar or like just a regular bar, whatever.
I've been drinking alone at an Applebee's with a book plenty of times, my friend.
Do you feel different when you're at the chain Applebee's down in Dollar Margaritas or
No, I mean, I can find something romantic about any bar on the planet, you know? Like when I think now I'm thinking about like my brother and I, and this is not going alone, I guess, but like we had just the best time ever at a CPK, like in El Segundo. And it was just in a mall. It was just a California pizza kitchen and it was as
oh,
corporate as it gets. And we just sat at the bar having white wine. And it was, I mean, it was, now I'm thinking I have to write about it. It's like that was probably the best night of my life.
I think that's a sorry, the CPK. I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh, I was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
fancy man. It's the California Pizza Kitchen. You can't say the whole thing. Um, it's, I haven't gone there in so long. Yeah,
It,
I guess anywhere could be a good time. I see. I come from a background of no one has ever said Dan McMahon has had one or two drinks. No, like if Dan's like, oh, I had a drink, I have been told that line. Like I'm a liar. And I'm like, all right,
mhm.
I can't. I'm either it's all or nothing for me. So I guess it could be fun to get a little weird at Applebee's.
I think it's fun anywhere. I do think it's unfortunately it's like like less and less people are doing it, I think. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
so you do end up becoming just you're the weird guy sitting at Applebee's with a book, scrolling on your phone,
Yeah.
empty beers all around you. But fuck it, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah. Listen, if the Applebee's is your vice, that's your vice. The beers all around. I had a buddy in high school whose dad, we'd come home sometimes and he used to drink around like a oil barrel. Like he'd light a fire in there.
Oh
And
hell
just,
yeah.
there's like no oil in it, but he just used to light fires and sit in the driveway and drink. But one time he came home, there was bottles and like cans all over like his driveway. And we were like, what's going on? He goes, oh, I like to spread them out so your mom doesn't think I'm drinking by myself. And I was like, yeah, all right, you win. That's a really good philosophy.
We all do sort of weird things like that to
Do you
hide the extent of our depravity.
do you write at bars at all? Like, I know you mentioned the free write. I do want to hear about that later, but like, is that still something you try to knock out when you're at somewhere like that?
I think that I definitely did with the problem drinker. Um, I I still do that. I don't like I haven't been possessed in the way that I was when I wrote chapters of the problem drinker in bars since that. But I do what I've been doing since I've been going to bars, which is I'll take like a notebook, like something like this,
Mhm.
and just like I'll just like write fragments down. Um, like little just observations or just thoughts and and again it's the phone has just destroyed every like my brain because like I more often than not all I'm doing at the bar is looking at like memes and sending them to people. you know
It is the nature of the beast, I think.
yeah.
With with bar culture,
Hmm.
what is like your etiquette if someone's like sitting near you? How do you gauge if you can just strike up conversation with them? Like what kind of body language do you look for to like be like, "Oh, I can be friends with this person?"
I think it's like, I wonder if I can even recognize what it is because it's just so intuitive. I think like you, I don't know, it's just something even just like a tilt of a head would suggest conversation. I don't know, I don't know. It's almost like the drinking inspires whatever it is because you're sitting there and then you just
Yeah,
an idea occurs to you and then you turn to the person and you're like, have you ever noticed that on the wall there? Like, have you been coming here long? What do you like? What are you drinking? I don't know.
I like that. I mean, it's always a good any indication is just like may as well go for it. And I think
Right.
it's bold to do something like that, like, especially in places where people might just want to be alone. I think it sometimes is like they want that, but do they really want that?
Mm, yeah. And if you stay long enough, it's like there's a waves. There's like, and then you'll be chatting with somebody, they'll disappear, but then a few hours later, suddenly they're there again. And I was at the library the other day and there was like a guy who's clearly been going there like for years and he's like, "You come here often?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm here all the time." And he's like, "Hey, wait, I recognize you. You're usually sitting in the booth back there." And I was like, "Yes, that's where I am."
That's awesome. That's when you know you're like a staple. Like
Yeah.
I used to go to Jay's so much that I would always be in the back right booth, and even now, like waitresses still remember me when I haven't even frequented there in the past like 7 years. So it's like one of those you made an impact kind of
Right. Yeah.
personalities.
Yeah. My friend Scott and we always joke because the library, we've been going for so long, but still we don't get free drinks, any free drinks. So I don't know.
The library in LA bar?
It's a New York bar.
Okay. Library. Oh,
Yeah.
it's one of your it's one of the ones. New York. I just want to see it. So like oh wow. Is it on Avenue A?
Yeah. That's the one.
Oh, that is sick. That is a bar I could really hang out in. Wow.
I,
If
I
you're
actually,
go
I
ahead.
had an art project there for a long time. Um, which basically I wrote stories that were like a single page long, and
Mhm.
then I printed them out on like poster paper, like about that big, and I put them in steel cases, and I installed them in the bathrooms at the library, and I would leave them there over the course of like a month, and people would graffiti on them and like add stuff to the story, respond to the story, and then I would show them in art galleries.
That's so sick. You've done quite a lot, it sounds like. What is a medium of art you want to return to? Like I know you're writing, I know you're acting. What is something that you like an art project like that? Like what's something you haven't gotten to do that would make you happy to return to?
I think I would like to return to the visual arts at one point. I think that bathroom series was really cool, and I think that I want to return to doing that and then expanding on that.
I like that. Um, so one thing that has come up through the book a few times, and a conversation that I had with CJ before this when we talked about you so I could get introduced, aliens.
Mm.
What what are your thoughts on UFOs? Like what do you think they actually look like?
Well, I've seen a couple.
What was the like the describe it?
Okay. So, to quote, by the way, like a common UFO saying these days is like, I don't have the luxury of disbelief any longer because
Hmm.
I've seen, and so to sort of set the scene, at the time, CJ and I were living in LA and it was about 11:30 at night and I was letting out the dogs and, I'm very much into UFOs. So every night when I let out the dogs, I look at the sky hoping to see one. This particular night, I'm looking at the sky, the dogs are peeing, and I start to feel very just chill, like just super chill. And then suddenly I have this sort of like epiphany where I'm like, like I don't have a care in the world. I'm just okay. And that's very rare. Like even in this moment right now, I'm anxious about something on some level. In that moment, totally clear. And in that moment, I'm looking at the sky and a giant V-shaped craft appears. It has a row of five lights on either side, and it's just silently shooting across the sky. I start shaking and I start yelling CJ's name and I'm like, CJ, you have to come outside right now. She runs outside and she's like, Kyle, stop screaming. We're in the summer. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop, but you have to look. And it's weird because it's almost like she's compelled not to look up. And she's like, why are you yelling? And I'm like pointing. And as I'm pointing, the V-shaped craft starts to shimmer a bit. And then its body starts disappearing, and I see like the outline of the V, but through it, I start to see stars. So it's become like translucent, and then it's gone completely. And I run outside the front of the house. I can't see it. I come back inside. I draw a picture of what I saw, and then I instantly tweet about it. Um, and then a guy responds to my tweet and he says, it's really crazy you say this. Look at my feed from a week ago. A week ago, he had posted a almost identical story of seeing something like that and becoming strangely calm before the sighting.
That is like something you hear is the calm.
Yeah.
What's the one ranch that like is so many Skinwalker Ranch? Like you hear a lot of those
Mhm.
stories. People just feel calm before they see anything. Huh.
Yeah.
I
Um,
the alien thing I'm full tilt in on. Like I'm very
have,
much. What'd you say?
have you seen something?
I have not, but I am of the belief that the universe is far too long and far too wide to not be anything else. Why are we
Mm.
special? Ghosts. I've had experiences, but I don't believe the experiences. I think there has to be some logical explanation for those ones. My fiance, big into the supernatural. I just don't. None of it. I would listen. I would love for cryptids to be more findable. I wish it. Well, I mean, they're cryptids for a reason, but like, I wish there was more evidence to persuade me because I live in the towns where the Jersey Devil was. Like, all the stories you hear about the
Mm.
Jersey Devil are here. Like, it's just this area, and supposedly he was shot out of the sky in one of the 2000 years, and he hasn't really been seen since. So like that makes me want to believe. I want to believe. That's my stance. Me, your Uber driver, and Data the Company just want to believe because it would make things so much more interesting.
But I'm curious, what you said you've had experiences, but you don't trust them. That's
So I'll tell you this one, and a couple parts I have to cut out, and I'll tell you them afterwards.
okay.
The beginning is I am. It's a snowstorm. I am behind a Vanderbilt mansion, which where I went to school, and I am peeing in the snow. The snow is up to my knees, and I turn around. Something makes me want to turn around to see what's behind me. And I look up into one of the windows of this mansion where there's a woman standing there, all in white. And there's no lights on in the building. The building is locked. And I'm like, oh, it's probably a sorority doing some weird ritual because they all wear white in these rituals. And I look and my meat's in my hand. Like I'm looking at this person. I'm like, I turn back around and finish my job. And I go back and I talk to one of my buddies. And I was like, dude, did you see that girl up there? And he's like, where? He's like, I was like in the building. He goes, the mansion's closed tonight, dude. Like public safety has already done the rounds. That's why we're out here. And I was like, what? And he was like, was it a woman in white? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, that's the woman in white story is that one of the Vanderbilt daughters was schizophrenic, so they locked her away. And under the campus there was and is tunnels, so she could get between the buildings, but like they kept her locked away. Supposedly this ghost is her. And I saw her and she was gone when I turned back around. So it's just like it's one of those things where it happened. I wasn't even drunk. I was fully sober. I saw
Yeah.
it and I was like, it could have been, but it's hard. It's like I want to my this is another one. So I I'm not again, I don't believe in the supernatural. Because like I don't think I want to. My mom always has these weird dreams and she I always just thought she was a kook. One day we're over at a friend's house next door, and she comes by to say hello, and she sees this friend of mine, friend she's never met, a friend she's never seen on Facebook. There's no way my mom could have knew who this person was. She goes, "Your name's Randy, right?" And we all looked at her and were like, "Oh fuck, here she goes." And he's like, "Yeah," and she's like, um, "This is very strange." But your aunt came to me a couple nights ago and told me to tell you all this. Like, she told him a bunch of stuff, and he's like, and after she left, he's like, my aunt died like the day that she said that she came to her in a dream. And I was like, God damn it, mom. So like sometimes when
Oh,
I wake up, like I just know something is bad is going to happen certain days. Like I just in my blood, I know it. So it's like, oh man, if it turns out it's right that my mom was right my whole life, and I can't have that. Like I can't give her that win.
it sounds like it's your destiny, man. Like to be engaged. That's why you're resisting it so much,
Yeah,
is
I just
because
don't
it's in your blood,
I don't
dude.
want to deal with all that noise. Like I just it's one of those things. It's like if more stuff happens, I will be like, all right, maybe I'm a little fucked up with superpowers of some sort. But like, it's she if she hears this, she's never gonna let me hear the fucking end of it. But like, she just has had these things her whole life and just knows. She like has. I in your book you mentioned orbs, and I was like, God damn it. Because she also is an orbs person. She loves pictures with orbs, and she'll send them to me. And I'm like, Mom, it's just camera flare. And she's like, No, it's not. And I was like, All right, you believe it.
Can
So
she summon them?
I'm afraid to ask her. She sees them in a lot of pictures. Some,
Okay.
yeah. So I one part of the book you talked about trying to practice telepathy. Have you done it? Like, have you been able to?
No, I don't. I have not been able to. It was not successful that night. My friend, the writer Caleb Bethia, um, they and I have been talking about doing telepathy experiments, but we keep on, I guess, getting too busy to really dive in. But over the holidays, we tried. Like they thought of a state, and I guess what they were doing was like summoning that thought to me across the country. And then I meditated that evening and then wrote down the state that I thought they were thinking of, and I was completely wrong.
All right, cool. At least yours don't work yet.
Yeah.
With things like that, just had something I wanted to go into. Oh, you mentioned meditation.
Mm.
Did you start meditating after you started doing yoga? If so, like, how do you get yourself into a place where you can kind of disconnect and be in your mantra or your moment to meditate?
Um, no, I didn't start when I started doing yoga. I meditated, probably just started in my early 20s and have tried to keep up a good practice of it. I've been largely unsuccessful, except for when I'm preparing for any acting role. If I'm acting, I have to meditate like before going to set. If
Mm.
I do an audition, I have to meditate before that. I try to do like a meditation every evening, but I haven't been, honestly, I've gotten worse at it as time has gone on. In my 20s, I had a cool practice. I would hang out with this dude I grew up with, and like we would go to bars, and he was like, in hindsight, he probably was not drinking very much because he was like a finance dude that then became like a Buddhist and was just like got rid of all worldly possessions and all he cared about was meditation. And so he would talk to me about like his practice with the hopes that I would get into it. And I did to a certain extent. But I think on the whole, I'm a pretty like shallow. I haven't gone deep, but I want to go deep. I'll have beautiful epiphanies every once in a while, but they're very brief. And I know that I'm on the precipice, and I really I want to kind of open up to the vaster, stranger space. But I don't know.
I
I don't know what I just said, but
no,
anyway, does that
it's
answer your
good. No,
question?
I think it does answer my question. The meditation is, I feel like it's a hard thing to get into, especially when you can't just clear your head like a flip. If you were doing it regularly, maybe it would help, but like I've never been able to even tap into that world. I just tried to get a you know how yoga mats are. They're slim and they're not super short. I'm 6'3" and built like the boulder from Indiana Jones. So I saw that someone made a extra large one that's like a 4x6. I was like, holy
Mhm.
shit. I was like, I can start doing yoga and not like want to die. So that's my next big mission is yoga.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, dude, you're tall. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm 6'4", so we're
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like with a mat, if my foot goes off it, I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna eat shit. There's no way I'm not. Because I've done it before. Because I worked in the fitness space for close to 8 years now, so I've done mostly everything.
Hmm.
But like none of it's only weightlifting has stuck with me. The rest of
Yeah.
it, but yoga I want to get into because I feel like it'll help.
I think that all these things like I feel like I think very locally. So when we were in the desert after the fires, not to like give a spoiler or whatever with the book, but when we were living in the desert, it was very natural to have a great yoga practice. On the East Coast, I like embody my New Yorker self, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking yoga. Like,
Yep.
what the fuck? So I don't know. It's just very place specific. Like you, weightlifting is the one consistent, and then running. I like running, and but I've kind of fallen out of the habit. Now I'm just lifting weights, and I mean I
I
like
love lifting weights.
fucking fun, dude. And you
It's
feel great.
you feel
Like
great. It's your own like it's like meditation for yourself. It's just like pick up big thing, put big thing down. It's awesome.
yeah, exactly.
Uncomplicated. It's just like I was doing CrossFit for a while because that's what my company was, and they're like, do a snatch and clean, and they're like, woof, woof, and like over the, I'm like, fuck that. Like, give me
Yeah.
something real heavy, and I'll just sit there by myself for a while and don't talk to me. That's my biggest thing. Is like, this is me. I don't even look at me. Pretend I don't exist.
I've read a book recently. I think it was Flat Earth by I can't even pronounce her name, so I'm not going to pronounce
Hmm.
it. But Flat Earth, and she's talking. The narrator is talking about a guy that she's seeing, and she talks about how he has the kind of muscles that suggest he, picks up heavy things. It's like practical muscles,
Yeah,
He's not. It's not like a beach body. He's picking up heavy shit.
yeah,
And I was like, that's cool. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's the stuff. Especially when
That's
you
the
can like
stuff.
do feats of strength that people aren't expecting, and you're like, whoa,
Hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
best. That's the best feeling. Uh, Now, you mentioned the fire and you're moving around. One thing, and I'm sorry to bring it up because it is such a cool place, but Mother's Office
Yeah.
was your pool house. In your
Yeah.
book, you do mention that you hung out there with Chuck Tingle and their partner, and Chuck had the mask on. You've had personal interaction with Chuck. Is the mask an always thing?
It's an always thing,
That's so cool. I
Yeah.
fucking love committing. It's just damn. I'm glad
It's
you. Go ahead.
no, it's just it's the real deal. Like I told him too, like I went to Sarah Lawrence where actually I was super drunk at StokerCon and we were talking and I was saying how like at Sarah Lawrence you just people just were who they were and you just dug it. It's
Yeah,
like they presented themselves and you accept it or you're like a square or something.
yeah.
So like with Chuck, it's like that's Chuck's deal, man. So
Just one of those people who like I don't think he even knows, but like he changed my life. Like I his interview basically was scheduled for a different time. The the publicist or something didn't let him know or didn't get in time to do it, so he showed up and I wasn't ready. I didn't have anything ready. I just had my heart and like all the things I wanted to talk about, and I did the whole interview. And at the end, he was like, "That was a really good interview," and I was like, "Thanks," because I did that all from the heart of my sleeve. Like I had nothing prepared. He's like, "Do that from now on. Don't prep. Just you're good at this and just do it." And like that's why I can do this right now. I've got for us some of my notes are aliens, uh, drinking stories, dark side in the film. Like it's not fully formed questions. It's just I'm going based on the instinct.
I
So
love it.
with that, what is a bad drinking story to you? Because you talk about you're in the film, you mentioned like you always love drinking stories, but what's a like a what is a bad drinking story in your opinion?
Hmm. I don't think there are any because I think I've been thinking about this quite a bit with my uh, novel that's coming out, and I was just working on the final edits, and it is a novel, so it's fiction, but a lot of the material that's in that is inspired by things may or may not be inspired by things that happen in my own life. And some of those things are very painful, just as some of the things in Problem Drinker are really painful. And in the retelling, in the writing, I'm still romantic about them. You know what I mean? It's like there's no like there's nothing too dirty and complicated and problematic and painful that I think would make a bad story. So I don't think there could possibly be a bad drinking story, short of Jeffrey Epstein. If he was drinking, that's a bad drinking story. I don't want anything to do with that
All right,
drinking
good
story.
good to know that the line is drawn at Jeffrey
Yeah,
Epstein's
yeah,
drinking
yeah,
stories.
yeah.
All
You
right.
know, so I do. I feel like there is a line, but I think I'm
Mhm.
just only speaking with in my own experience.
Yeah.
Where, yeah. So I'm not excusing monstrous behavior, but
I'm glad you cleared it up. I didn't want anybody making any uh any accusations against you.
yeah. Um, no, but I think that like no, I think I'm trying to think. I don't. I think is there bad drinking? Of course there is, but you put
Mm.
story on that, and I mean like actually the like that. I mean the worse the drinking, probably the more interesting the story. So
The the whole title, we haven't spoken about this part yet. The problem drinker. For you,
mhm.
what is a problem drinker? Just like if you have to give me quick off the head, what do you think that means to you?
I think it means a lot of things, and I'm almost hesitant to answer definitively because I think that
That's
one of the
I'm fine by that.
yeah, I think one of the things about the book to me is calling into question what is a problem, what's not a problem, what like the nature of problematic behavior and having a problem with something. So I don't know if I have an answer.
I
I
like
think
that.
yeah, I think it's more interesting. There's the question of what do we really think is a problem, and I think that there's thresholds for every individual based on their own experience with themselves and their own experience with others, and I think that everybody will have their own answer to that.
That's incredible. Something I really loved about your book is that I found myself, and I don't typically do this, is I'm like highlighting in my Kindle. I don't usually read digital. I usually write in my book straight up. But
Mhm.
there's one thing that I've wanted to talk about since I read it is the Kouri method. Do you mind if I read this sentence?
Sure.
You just have to be able to instantly fall in love with people and get them to instantly fall in love with you. When did you realize that was something that meant so much to you?
I think that's just kind of like my it's that's just like the whole thing. That's like my life, man. Like I think um I love people, and even like before I was an actor or a writer, I love just like you were talking about, like you like talking to strangers, and
Hmm.
even though I had that sort of like benchy bit about Uber drivers in the book, like I my whole life I love talking to strangers, and I fall in love with everybody, and I more so in that chapter in particular is talking about like acting, and I think that like yeah, it's like you want like to be successful in acting, you have to get somebody to fall in love with you. Like, even if to hate you, like whoever you're in a scene with, it's like the step one is like, have they fallen in love? And that's when it gets good. But I think that even extends to our conversation about talking with folks at the bar. It's like it's just like how to have a good conversation with somebody at a bar is just like fall in love with them. It's like,
Yeah.
and then and then very quickly you'll learn whether they've fallen in love with you too. And
Yeah.
and then if not, then usually the conversation ends.
I'm I read that and I wrote it down because I feel like I have always felt the same way. It's just that I love humanity. It's just like I love the human experience. I love getting to, and that's why I think this book was so special to me and I didn't want to finish it, is because it is just a really interesting portrait of the human experience, because you and I are very different people, and I feel, and it's hard because it's the parasocial nature of a memoir. Is like I feel like I know a bit about you, but more so when I originally brought this up with CJ, I was like, "Hey, I know your partner has a book. Do you mind linking me up? Because like I love the concept of it." She mentioned that it was interesting to her that it would be a conversation with someone who has had many conversations with her, like she and I have had, but also then to go read your book.
Mm,
Going into yours, I had just read Headlights. I finished literally the day I started yours. There's a character in Headlights who is has to be grafted from your person. The aliens, the kind of, he's so unabashedly likable.
mm.
So it's very interesting going to your book after having experienced that and knowing like he kind of came from you, and just like reading that, I'm like, oh, I see it. When you talk about the aliens or people wanting to talk to you about that. Another question for you: the rocks. Are you still doing them? You talked about you were carrying like stones in your pockets.
Oh yeah.
Are you still a rock guy?
Well, it's so that all started for a number of reasons. I read a book about like keeping special objects around and like
Do you see this?
and yeah, that's beautiful.
She will not leave. She was just engraved in my shoulder. So this is I'm just giving up.
What's her name?
This is Kouri. Um,
Oh, hello, Corey.
yeah, close. Kouri, I think Miriam's in here somewhere, and then our Chihuahua was in here, but I don't know where he went. Then we have a dog, another dog as well. So sorry, she's
No,
gone now.
we're
What were you gonna say?
um yeah, so I just I read this thing about like endowing objects with like meaning and so I started doing that. And anytime in my life that I've ever become spiritual in any way, I think has come from a place of like needing to, like whenever I'm having a hard time, I like turn to that stuff. So I started carrying things, and then we lost someone in our lives who was very big into rocks, and so I had some rocks of his, and I carry those with me, and with those specific rocks, I think that like what he and his family intended is that just whenever there was the right place for them or the right person to pass that along to, kind of pass
Mhm.
the object along. So I kind of carry those with me with the intention of furthering that that meaning. And then I have all sorts of weird objects that I just kind of carry with me and put on my bedside table. And just I think the act of endowing something with meaning gives it meaning, and I think that can just kind of help focus your own thoughts and intentions. And yeah, I've spent some time in the California desert, as you can tell.
I'm also a big trinket guy. I love having some sort of object on me.
Mhm.
I wear headbands pretty much all the time.
Love it.
The one time I'm not wearing it is right now, but it's just like there are pieces of me that I want people to remember. Like it's just like,
Mhm.
even if it's just for me, like I have like coins all over my desk. I've just got like things I keep. I don't know how nerdy you are, but I have a platinum chip from Fallout New Vegas on my desk. Like I've got,
Nice.
yeah, I've got like the legitimate coin. I'll show you. The audience at home can see. It's like the real chip from the game. I got somebody made them on Etsy or something, and I was like, yeah, I want that. Because for as long as I have been working from home, I have been trying to learn how to flip a coin between my fingers, but I have fat fingers, so it doesn't really work.
Can you do it at all or no?
I can see if I can. Maybe after a couple more drinks I could do better, but the it's just like one of those like small things. I love having something to like keep my mind focused, and I think the rock thing was I've got rocks on my desk too from an old coworker whose mom sent them to me because they were special rocks. They crystals, they did something. I don't remember what they did, but I've always kept them just because if they believe they're good luck, then they're good luck to me.
Yeah.
That is that's my belief. If something means something to someone else, it'll mean something to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
what else we got? So the film. It's I love that it's one shot, really like that. Who did the score? Because there's such a malevolent nature to it that like it's dark. Like some of this
Yeah.
book is dark. Like, but you are a complicated character. And it is so interesting to see it in this. I messaged you when I was watching it. You mentioned something called your evil laugh in the book.
My mean laugh,
Your
my
mean
mean
laugh
laugh.
when you're
Yeah.
kind of being a dickhead. No offense. Um, I'm the same way, but when I heard it, I was like, "Oh shit, is that it? Is that the laugh?"
What part of the film
You were like,
do I
huh.
do?
You really pushed it out.
That's probably my mean laugh then, which is
Yeah,
yeah, I love it. Cool. That means that then hopefully at least in that
rings
moment
true.
of the film, I was acting well. I was acting
Yeah,
good.
it was good. I really enjoyed it. I was like, "This is," and was this your choice to make a movie for the book?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, to answer your first question, Travis Sedge Bacon, my very dear friend who's in the book, he scored it. He scores like any if I make a film, Travis scores it. I would never like it. That's sort of a non-negotiable sort of situation, and I do it just because he's my friend and I love him, but also just because he's the best, and it doesn't matter what you
Really
bring.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the best. He's literally doesn't matter what you bring. It will be amazing. Like you mentioned, the advanced class, very different kind of
Mhm.
film. He scored that as well, and it's like I mean, like entirely different flavor, and he knocks it out of the park. When it comes to having made the film and why I made it is I've always been obsessed with book trailers, and in particular, a friend of mine and a former teacher and a former coworker actually, well, coworker is James. He was an employee, I was an intern. This guy Adam Wilson, he's a great writer, and he wrote a book called Flat Screen, and made a book trailer for it, and it's an amazing short starring Paul Dano, or I never is it Paul Dano or
Paul
Paul
Dano.
Dano? Paul
What?
Dano.
That's
Yeah, I
wild.
think. Yeah, so I think they're friends or something, and
Yeah.
so Paul Dano stars in it, and also Stoya, who is a writer and also a porn actress. I don't know if you're familiar with
Uh,
Stoya.
yeah, I've heard the name.
Okay, anyway, so her and then Lincoln Mitchell, who is a writer. I think I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, but anyway, it's a great cast of characters, and it's the funniest 5 minutes I think that have ever existed in the literary world. You should watch it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so now, like literally, like if we were in the same room, the next step would be I'd be like, we're watching
Yeah.
this book trailer, and when I'm hanging out with people, I force them to watch this book trailer. Anyway, so he made a book trailer, and Gary Steingart, another great writer, also a professor at Columbia, he's made several book trailers, and his are like major productions. He's had tons of actors in them. Like Ben Stiller was in one, James Franco was in another. Like
No biggie.
Gary Steingart's like a man about town. So like
Yeah.
I don't know how he pulls that off, but he's but anyway, they're really funny Usually a book trailer in this very niche
Yeah.
way of making book trailers is like a skit. Um, so I always knew that I wanted to make one, and I got the idea for this one to do like riffs on famous drinking scenes from films. And I had the idea, I wrote a script, and then I started personalizing it. So while it was inspired by these films, it told the story of a guy who had nerves about his book coming out. And after sharing the script with the guys, I have a production company with Travis and our friend Dylan Garrett Smith. Travis called me up and he was like, "Look, I think I might regret saying this, but I kind of see this as a oneer." And it's always been my dream to make a oneer. Travis knows that. Travis also loves oneers. And so the second he sort of brought the idea up, it sort of gave me permission to then pursue it. So then I reached out to the entire crew and I was like, guys, we're making this a oneer.
Huh.
And then we did it and we pulled it off. It took a lot of work. We were on set 2 days. We shot the thing 27 times. And the 27th take is the one that we used.
Jesus. The Wonder is so good. The whole thing I loved. I was messaging you during it because I was really enjoying the whole thing. I watched it this morning. I'm excited for people to see it. How are your nerves now? Because you've got time, but is it still something you're nervous about, the book getting out there?
Not really. No,
Do you
I
feel like
mean, I
enough
hope,
people have read it now where you're like, I'm good?
yeah, pretty much. Like, I hope it does well. I hope people like it and it sells well.
So do I. I'm not a memoir person, but like a memoir of an interesting person who is not like afraid to just not even like you never shit on yourself, but like you're very honest about who you are, and I really, really like that about the book.
Hell
This isn't just because you're here. Like, if the book wasn't good, I would tell you. But I really enjoyed it. I didn't want it to end. Like, I genuinely didn't want to finish reading it till we talked because I was like, fuck, then it's over. But you're a human being and your life goes on. So like, there's still more story to be had, which is the interesting thing about a memoir.
yeah.
Now, you're in the book. You talk about Bukowski from he comes up so often. What do you find most interesting about what Bukowski has to say about love?
Wow. Great question.
This is why they pay me the big bucks.
Yeah. Um, I Number one, Bukowski is just a amazing fucking writer. Like I think that it's sort of just it's what happens to everybody that like when you become so known and so known for a thing, we stop seeing the thing for what it is. And I think that like he's been so in the cultural zeitgeist for so long that it's hard to kind of take a step back and look at what he actually accomplished. And everything he wrote is so readable, and a lot of it is most of it is just brilliant.
Yeah.
And without fail, every single thing, and I've read probably almost all of it, it's all romantic. So what was the question about? Like, what does
What do you
he,
find most interesting about what Bukowski has to say about love?
is that he is without fail just the biggest romantic of all time. There's not a line that he's ever written that is not romantic, and it is going back to like that chapter you brought up. Is just he's in love with everything, and it's hard not to. And he's so sincere about it. Like he's the most sincere and sentimental, like what probably like American writer of all time. He's just there's not a inauthentic like he's just like I don't know. I can't really speak to like who knows like the artifice around like what he constructed, but
Mhm.
as it appears on the page, he just he loves every second of it. You know what I mean? Like even if he doesn't love it, he's sitting there clacking away on the keyboard. Drinking his wine, listening to his classical music in his room in L.A. And I think that that's that's the deal with him. And I think that like as far as love, like romantic love in him, I think that like at least in the way that I understand it and what I find romantic is just two people in a room just naked spiritually and naked physically. It just he gets that. Like he gets two human beings exposing themselves to one another and more than anybody else. There's a reason why you can at any moment pick him up and read it and just and feel something and just like continue turning the pages,
I
you know?
had the same experience you had with him, where a family member went and bought me most of his work.
Oh, right, right.
I still have it on my shelf, even though I've kind of moved into different places since. I find the comment about just being fully spiritual, like you were seeing the other person, and I think there's something funny about some of the things he writes. Like there's some humor to it that is often lost when it comes to romanticism. That like it should also be fun. Like you're also like having you don't have to be yearning forever. You can also love the thing you love. Like it's there and you have it.
Mhm.
So that's what I've always found so interesting about his work. Now,
Wait, that's interesting. Yeah, like loving the thing that you love and it's just
yeah, it's
there.
there. Like some people think too much. Like
Hmm.
you and I both have partners and we love them dearly, but we see them all the time. Like we're constantly in contact with them. Sometimes it takes a moment to like step back and be like, "Oh shit, I have the thing that people have been yearning for since they lit fires." Like
Yeah.
there is someone who understands you to a point where like if you're being an asshole, like you and I seem to have a tendency to be sometimes, they still see you and they know that's not you. It's just you're dealing with things and you're just not good at sometimes dealing with them. So I think that's what I have always loved about romantic writers, just because it's like some people just get it. Like they get what love is and aren't, some people have never loved and you can tell in their writing. Like
Yeah.
it's all there. Um, now
With
there's, go ahead.
I was just gonna add that like with him too, like anybody can write one book about like just and be completely like naked and obsessed with like um the art of it, like in the
Mhm.
capital A art of writing a poem or prose. He just kept doing it, and that's I
Yeah.
think also the sort of beauty of it is like he believed in it so much. And it doesn't even matter what maybe he may have felt at any time. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
There's so much of it. And I think that's what's so kind of great. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Like you can, I don't know if you can, but like in people's work, you can tell what is real and what is not. Like there's a
mm,
facade that everyone can put on, but like when you talk about your partner, I can tell you love them deeply. Like in the darkest moments, you can still tell, and you write about it in the book, which is beautiful. It's interesting being that I came to you from them. Like
mm,
it's very interesting to me, but it's wonderful. Like it's so nice to see other people in love and like not ever having to feel bitter about it, like some people have come to.
yeah,
That's something I really loved about reading your book is the authenticity in all walks of it is just so phenomenal to me, especially because it's like this is the one you've wanted to, like you tried to get so many out there, but this is the one that hit. Like there's a reason for that. Like there's a reason like
yeah.
this is what people are gonna know.
Mhm.
Now, in the book, you also talk about how at one point in your life, the only thing that kept you going was one other thing, and black metal.
Yeah.
What made you find solace in that type of sound? And can you give me a recommendation for a black metal band?
Oh my gosh. I think that like at that time, I was working a lot with Travis and Dylan with our film company, and they're like as when it comes to like metal and punk, they're like the
Hmm.
real deal. You know what I mean? I'm like I'm a punk
Poser.
rocker, but
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not yeah, I'm a poser. I'm a poser, but
Okay.
they're the real deal, and I think that like I always when I hang out with them, I kind of get giddy because I feel like I'm hanging out with like real
Real,
punks,
real
you
cool
know,
guys. Oh,
real
Jesus.
cool guys, yeah. And I mean, I've been doing this thing my whole life, but at the same time, they have a certain sort of like air of authenticity that one can only aspire to when it comes to like being in a punk and metal scene. But having said that, I think that while I was like going through some sort of situational depression, I would just simply like be hanging out with them and hearing the bands that they talked about, start, discovering my own the bands that resonated with me, and then like I would like go on Bandcamp, and I think Bandcamp is like sort of like as close to a digital age record store as there's gonna be. It's like it's a very
Hmm.
like bands that are on Bandcamp versus Spotify are ones that want that sort of like, you know, like uh you know, underground essence. So I would just find that music and I think it resonated with me because, you know, it's not catchy, it's not easy to listen to, and so but in a weird way it's calming for that reason, especially when you are not in a moment catchy or easy or figure it out. It just kind of it's a nice kind of balm, and yeah, so
I
that
think there's
it just
I think there's a catharsis in loud, angry music. Like my go-to for like when I'm feeling a little shitty is not as heavy as yours, but Guar. I fucking
yeah.
love just like sitting down and like really enjoying Guar. I've gotten to interview one of them, which was the way we talked about Chuck. Same thing
Hmm.
with Guar. From before the interview started, during the interview, afterwards, they are Guar. Like
Hmm.
there is no that is not a character. That is a human being. Like sorry, some dog, alien, whatever they are. Um, but it's like there's something so cathartic about the heaviness. Um,
Yeah. Actually, I was hanging out with Chuck, and Chuck loves like heavy music, and he was talking about how it's just like the intricacies and the atonality just calms him down,
yeah.
and I don't, and I there is something about it that it's like it's an acquired taste for sure.
What's your actual like what is your actual music taste? Just because I know your partners, but what is your like something that CJ's music choices for all the books is something I really like. Do you have
Mhm.
like what would your soundtrack be like if you had one? Like what kind of sounds would you try to include?
It's totally like it's all over the place. I like all sorts of music. I grew up with punk music. I don't really listen to punk that much anymore. I mainly listen to like country music and rap, just like country and
Same.
rap, you know.
What kind of country? Like what? All right, give me what's your favorite rap artist, or what are you into right now? Because right now I'm super into Outkast.
Nice.
Super into Outkast.
Um, I've been listening to a lot of like I've been revisiting my 2010s and listening to Schoolboy Q.
Oh, okay.
I like this sort of like gritty New York East Coast
Yeah.
artist right now. And then with country, uh, I like Charlie Crockett. I'm a big fan of, especially recently, and Dylan Earl.
Mm,
The list can go on and on with country because that's mainly what I'm listening to. And then I like really weird, folksy. gothy country like Lonesome Wyatt. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah,
heard of
I
him.
think I'm really into Ethel Cain, like that kind of like
Dude, Ethel Cain's fucking awesome. And CJ loves Ethel Cain. Ethel
so
Cain's
fucking
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
Um, as for rap, let me see if I can get you to see it. Um,
Oh, there you
I have
go.
a I
All
have a
right.
large, very large painting of Christopher Wallace, my true father, up on the wall.
What's up? I thought of two other artists I really like,
Yes,
Ghostmane and Suicide Boys.
I like the Suicide Boys. I've never heard of Ghostmane. I'll have to look them
Oh,
up.
dude, you're gonna fucking love Ghostmane, dude.
Let me put it on my list. Ghostmane. All right, that'll go on the list. This Alien Church fucking rocks. I'm not a huge IPA guy, but it is one tasty beverage.
What kind of IPA is it? Does it say?
Indian Pale Ale. This beer in this can is hyper fresh, unfiltered, and fragile. Keep cold. That's it. That's all it says.
Okay.
From Tired Hands. Tired Hands usually makes some pretty good stuff, but it is really just a great beer. Really enjoy it.
I think I've had Alien. I think I've had that one before. Um,
It's a banger. Do you have a local? Well, you're in California. What is your like local go-to beer?
well, not in California any longer. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, but I would say Pizza Port is probably I think the best brewery. I think one of the greatest IPAs ever is the Swami's IPA. Um,
look at it up.
yeah.
Swamis. Oh, I've seen this can.
It's amazing. It's like they just figured it out, you know. Oh, and another great one is oh man, I was bartending at this place that served this, and whenever I could sneak one, I would. The Topa Topa Chief Peak IPA
Chief.
from Topa Topa, which is a brewery in um, how am I forgetting an entire town's name? It's
Tell you
the
a second.
town.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's a great town in California that for some reason I cannot
That's
remember
a
the name of it this moment.
pretty ass can.
But it's a great tasting beer.
Huh. The what did I mention you with Buzzballs earlier? Four Loco. I
Yeah.
I was not into Four Loco, but so a couple years ago when COVID was big, I went to the liquor store because we were going to do a Christmas Eve Gate Crashers Christmas party, and
Fun.
I'm standing in front of the like cases, and there's this dude in a full suit, and he looks at me and he goes, "I think it's a Four Loco kind of night," and I went, "What?" And he goes, "Four Loco kind of night." I went, "I believe you. Let's get them." So me and this man both got the same ones. Through the night, I got just wrecked. And we were on Twitter not bullying, but tweeting at Four Loco, being like, hey, you should sponsor us. Hey, you should sponsor us. My buddies are responding like, hey, Dan's a really good guy. You should sponsor him. The next morning, when we're all waking up thinking about the horrible things we had done, they had responded like, whoa, whoa, chill out. We'll have a meeting. What is your. And then I got to have a professional meeting with Four Loco over it. They had just passed their whatever you call it, the budget for publicity, but I got to have a meeting with them, so I'm loyal forever. And it's delicious. They're delicious, delectable beverages. I don't know what's in them. I don't know if it's literally just pure iron and nickel or something that's going to kill me, but if that is the way I go, I want to go that way. They took a meeting with me.
Yeah,
That means a lot.
that is that's legendary, man.
Yeah, that was it was like way back when we were a lot smaller. Like now if I did something like that, I'd be like, okay. But this is when we were like tiny. So it was nice to like someone gave a shit and I was like, all right, that was really cool.
Four Loco cares, man.
They do, and that's why I'm a Four Loco guy forever. Even I'll be the grandfather at the cookout, like just drinking a Four Loco. Everybody else is having beers and stuff, and grandpa's gonna get in that fucking bounce house and suplex some children. Um one thing I know you have a passion for is bookstores.
Mhm.
Used bookstores especially. You have the Instagram that you run together. For you, what is one of the what is a bookstore that made an impression on you? Like what went somewhere and it left something that changed you once you left that place.
I mean, there's so many. So it's a bit hard to pick one, but I'll just pick a recent one because we are in upstate New York at the moment. I went to a town called Saugerties, and there are two bookstores in Saugerties that I love. One is called Inquiring Minds, which is an amazing mix of new and used books, and then there's Our Bookstore, which is a used and rare bookstore, and um, a great bookstore is kind of like a great bar or a great restaurant or a great hotel. It's got character and it's just got something. It's just you can feel the history in it. And Inquiring Minds, I think, just an amazing selection of uh, you know, literary books. They got a great horror section. They also have like a cool like philosophy and like criticism section. They have a cool like local section, and everything is just curated so thoughtfully. And I think that's sort of what makes a good anything is just that thoughtfulness and that care. And yeah, and bookstores. They're the greatest place on earth, you know. It's just
Spent a lot of time in like Barnes and Nobles and Borders in my life. I there's a we just got a local horror bookstore called Thrilladelphia. I
oh
I,
my God.
I want to go just because the name is so fucking good. Like I was like Thrilladelphia? Fuck yeah.
Dude, Philadelphia is an amazing. Yeah,
Right?
did they come, is that something that people say or like
No,
is that
I've never heard it before.
they
Philly
came up with?
has very distinct vernacular. Like John. You ever
Mhm.
heard John?
No.
It's a word replacement. So like, oh, can you go grab me that John? Like this John, that John. It's just a
Huh.
word that replaces other words, and it's just well known here. So we've got a culture that's very white trash. I like there's a certain level of grunge to everything that Philadelphia does, which I love. Like we're the most violently passionate fans of anything.
Hmm.
So it's a big thing for me. Now you're from New York, right?
Hmm.
How do you think being from New York has informed how you write? Like what do you not do like filler because of it, or are you very brief? What influences there?
I don't think it's anything particular like brevity or because I think there's New York writers who are the opposite of like
Mm,
laconic. They're just like very wordy. I just think, there's something about New York, and I have felt this since I've been back, where it just demands a certain high bar of like intellectual integrity and sort of ambitiousness. Is that a word? That's probably, I think it's ambition.
mm,
New York is just like it holds itself to a certain standard, and I think when I was in New York for a very long time and then left, I was like, this is so stupid. And I fell in love with the rest of the country, and I was like, New York is so obsessed with itself, and it's kind of just tiresome how obsessed with itself it is. Um, then when I came back and it's just in my blood, I'm like, no, there's something about like the New York that's just it just as in literature, it really holds itself to a high standard, and I think that there is something to it. There's something to be lost too. I think that like New York is a bit rigid when it comes to ideas like, like talking about the paranormal or UFOs. I think it kind of rolls its eyes at those sorts of
mm.
things. And it's a shame because there is tons of intellectual merit to being spiritual and to being open to stranger ideas. And it's a great tradition throughout literature. I mean, some of the greatest writers have been interested in that. So New York will then co-opt it when that writer becomes the legend. But I think it's a bit closed-minded. But with that closed-minded, there is something where you can't be lazy.
Yeah.
It's just there's something there is some it's like we were talking about earlier. I am a very local person, and I tap into something in New York just like I tap into something in Texas or Arizona. It's like or California. It's just you become different versions, and I think that New York has something that you can't, you know.
Yeah, and I think there's something about a lot of the writers that I've spoken to. Like, I could tell you where you're from. Like, if you and I spoke and I had no idea, I would know. The
Mhm.
same thing. I've interviewed Stephen Graham Jones a few times, who I know you know, and like I know he's from tech. Like, I get it. Like, I listen. There's no voice I'd rather hear than his. His is
Mhm.
like one of my favorite human beings to interview because like I could just listen to him talk all day. I just love it.
Yeah.
But like you can
You got
tell when
that thing, man.
yeah, he's really got that he's like the man.
Yeah.
Um, he's the honestly, he's the reason I read prose still. Like he got me back into it, and I've been here since. So very thankful for all of these people who inspire me. And again, it's hard for me to do these interviews sometimes because like I am very passionate about everything I do, and like when something inspires me, I want them to let them know. But then it sounds like I'm fucking kissing ass or sucking toes or whatever you have, like trying to make them feel special. But like legitimately, art inspires so much. What is a piece of art that has inspired you to do what you do? And like a movie, a book, or just like a piece of art. Like what is something that has pushed you to express yourself?
There's like a few that come to mind. I think Henry Miller's Tropic of Capricorn, I think was probably one of the most important works of art for me. There's an artist named Paul McCarthy who did a show in New York. I'm not even going to be able to remember the name of it or where it was, but it was a installation, and I remember walking into the installation and just thinking, "Oh my God! Like you can, like somebody did this, right?" And I think those are what immediately come to mind. It's just I think that Michel Houellebecq is probably my all-time favorite writer, and his book, The Map and the Territory, really impacted me. And I think throughout life, there's just these moments in which these artists just like it's just like, oh, you can do that. And I think there's really no words to describe that feeling other than a door has opened and a possibility has opened.
I Are you familiar with who Gertrude Stein is?
Yeah, of course.
Gertrude Stein is like my North Star. I just,
Okay, cool.
I think and I'm not someone who follows artists so much as I follow something like that, like something where it's like she surrounded herself with the most impressive people who have ever existed. And she
Yeah.
also was just a force of personality and all that kind of stuff. Like that is what I have strived towards. So that is the kind of stuff that inspires me. But it's so interesting to hear your kind of inspirations. I've written those books down so I can check them out because understanding the people I interview is really big for me. So I'm glad you're giving me those insights. Now, before we get to the finale, I'm
Hmm.
curious, what is a cocktail that you have enjoyed the most recently? What is your now go to? You have to think quick. You're at the airport and someone's like, hey, what do you want to drink? What do you say? 30 seconds on the clock.
It, yeah, if I'm at the airport and I'm ordering a cocktail, which I probably would never do, but if I were to order a
Howard.
cocktail at an airport, it would be a martini, and it would be very dry martini. I would tell them to rinse the glass with vermouth and then pour the vermouth out, and then just put really cold gin in a glass.
I
Um,
what is your friend Sarah Jane's father's was it a martini where it was just
yes,
gin
yeah,
and
yeah.
a grapefruit twist? And I was like, damn,
Yes,
really want
Sarah
that
Jane.
right now.
Yeah, she's an amazing writer too, and that is the best martini. You can't get better than that
Wow,
than her dad's martini.
I'm gonna have to check her work out because like that was like, damn, I'm into that. Now, like if you're at a bar, all
Hmm.
right, perfect scenario. You've had the best day of your life. Everything went right for Kyle today. You walk
Hmm.
into your favorite bar, your favorite place to be, you're with the people you love. What is your cocktail?
It depends on the bar, man. It's like it's very bar
Your
specific, but
favorite
I
bar.
think
Let's say you go to the library and
the library.
all your friends are there.
I would never order a cocktail at the library. It would just
Glad to.
be, yeah, it would be an IPA and a whiskey chaser. But if I was
The
at,
whiskey chaser is nuts. Like,
yeah.
I love that. You wrote it in the book, and I was like, damn, that is a problem drinker. I was like, I get it.
No, it really depends. Like if I'm out with a bunch of writers, we're probably going to be having martinis. If if I'm at like a dark candlelit bar, I'm going to have like a Manhattan or a Negroni.
Mm.
If I'm with my friend Scott, we're going to drink beer and whiskey. It just depends, man.
I
It's
like
so
that.
it's yeah.
Have you ever had a New York old fashioned?
What's I don't know the New York
So,
variety. What's
so it
that?
is an old fashioned with red wine on top. So they poured over this
Oh yeah, I've
beautiful.
had that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I think that is my, if I'm having a great day, that's my drink. Like, I love that.
Mm, yeah,
It's such an interesting concoction of flavor. Um, and the wine just like so, meaty in a way that it's just like not like the rest of the liquid in that glass.
yeah.
Now, you are someone who revels in collecting books, collecting used books. I see all the stuff you post online, and I'm fascinated by it. And you are well read. And I've learned that from this book. I do not consider myself well read.
Mhm.
Knowing what you know of me from this conversation you and I have had just now, what is a book you would suggest that I should read after this?
Hmm.
I saved a really hard one for the finale.
Yeah. This is probably going to be like it comes to me late tonight, and then I have to
That's fine.
like
You know where I'm at. You know how to find me.
yeah, because I can't. It's that's a very hard question, you know.
Listen, the more thought you put into it, the more likely I am actually going to read the entire thing once you send it. So
Yeah,
now, before I let you go, where can people find you? Tell them all the things that they should be picking up from you, and if there's anything they should be looking forward to from you.
sure. Yeah. Well, I'm at Kyle Kouri on Instagram. Um, The Problem Drinker comes out June 2nd. Tomorrow. Whenever this is posted, I don't
Mhm.
know when that will be,
Yeah,
but by the time this is posted, you will be able to find the Problem Drinker film on YouTube,
please
which,
watch it. It. I'm
yeah,
gonna cut you off because I just want to say like I am not familiar with book trailers, and getting to see one was like a movie being based on a book is so cool. Like watch it before you read it because I did the opposite and I still got the same. I thought I got a really great thing out of it, but I think it's a good way to sell the book because it's just
mm,
fun.
I'm glad. Yeah, so watch that, and then also you can watch a film I directed called Keep Coming Back on YouTube, and that's a horror film that's now on Crypt TV, and that is mentioned a lot in The Problem Drinker, and I think a pretty foundational work of mine as far as an actor and a director. And then lastly, on October 30th, my first novel comes out. It's called Graveyard, and you can get that anywhere when it comes out. And it's from a press called Rejection Letters. And I think if you like The Problem Drinker, I think you'll really love Graveyard. And if you don't read nonfiction and just want a novel, then just fuck it, read Graveyard.
Who is publishing your book? Just so I can
Uh, which one? Which
the
one?
novel.
The novel is Rejection Letters.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That makes me so sorry. People who
Do you
read the
know
book.
Rejection Letters?
No, I know because of the book. I
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
we'll
Yes.
we'll talk more after offline because I've This, you and I, has opened more doors to me. We'll talk about it
Mm.
afterwards.
Okay.
But please, this is wonderful. I'm very excited to get a few drinks and actually talk, um, just with a very human approach to it. So thank you for this. You can find us at gatecrashers.fan, where we do all of our reviews, interviews, and everything in between. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
It's the Gatecrashers.